Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. How is everyone feeling? It is such a turbulent time, I think, for everyone. We have finally reached the astrological new year. It's definitely a lot more refreshing. Towards the end of Pisces season, it always feels to me like we are all so stuck and like isolated and just kind of like getting weird. Or I'm just speaking for myself. I'm like, okay, Aries season is here. I'm ready to go outside again, ready to spread my wings and feeling very the Fool card. So ready to make that leap of faith and just start something completely new. That's how it really feels. So we have the new moon in Aries coming up, which will really help us get jump started. It'll kickstart our astrological new year. We also have some other random things going on. I'm just going to focus on what the energy is like right now, and then we'll talk about the new moon in Aries. And we're also going to just briefly touch on Hera/Juno, because she ends up being somewhat significant for karmic things, past life things, future lifetime things, where we're going, what we're leaving behind, specifically on this new moon. So I will share my screen. We'll just look at today and see what the energy is like today. It's chaotic, honestly. Just looking at it now, there's so much Aquarius energy, which is stable. You know, it's not super chaotic, but it can definitely be surprising and unexpected. All right. Okay. So this is today's, it is March 27th. It is Sunday. So the first thing that I noticed for today, do I have her pulled up here? Yes, I do. Okay. So Saturn and Venus are actually moving into this conjunction right now. So as you can see, Venus is at 20 degrees of Aquarius. Saturn is at 21 degrees of Aquarius. So they're moving into this conjunction. It's an interesting conjunction for sure. Every time we have Venus meeting up with Saturn like this, I always, of course, just think to mythology and Venus being really the only person that could deal with Saturn. Nobody else really wanted to deal with Saturn, but Venus could. So Venus moving into this conjunction with Saturn, especially in Aquarius, even though we have like a certain imagery of Aquarius as being like the rebel and being very unexpected and rebellious, I just think that Venus moving towards and coming into this union with Saturn is actually a good thing. I think it's going to bring some stability and solidification to our partnerships, and also solidifying what we desire in life, what we find to be beautiful, what we find to be pleasurable. That stuff is coming into reality. So I see this as a great opportunity for us to do art, to hang out with loved ones, especially the people who are very like Saturn in our life, like very like rooted foundational people. That's going to feel really good right now to be around those people who actually support you and who provide you with some kind of stability. Of course, Saturn, this could be father figures, this could be just people in your life who have either been there a long time or just feel very familiar and give you that sense of Saturn stability, but also people who challenge you to do better and to be better too. So that's kind of what that feels like. But with Venus and Saturn coming together, as you can see, in between them, there's Juno, which is one of the major, I would say, asteroid goddesses in Aquarius. So, you know, Juno is Hera being basically the queen of Olympus. She was with Zeus, so she is Zeus's wife. She's got some troubling mythology because Zeus and or Jupiter was always cheating and doing like some really messed up things. So, you know, in the mythology, Hera and Juno were written as being very vengeful, and there are stories about either of them, both of them, doing some terrible things, but usually it's to women. Usually it's to the women or the goddesses that Zeus was having these affairs with. Usually she punished the women and not Jupiter or Zeus. Although there was a lot of jealousy, resentment, hate, and things like that between them. So it's an interesting storyline. It definitely reflects what was going on with women at the time of the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans. Of course, the stories are always going to reflect the culture. So on one hand, Hera and Juno, they're definitely like queen energy. They're associated with peacocks and cows, which gives it kind of like gives her a fertility function. And of course, the movie Juno, she does deal with like pregnancy and women's issues as a whole. So we have like an interesting thing happening here. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I kind of see this as like Saturn and Venus. This is like father-daughter relationships, or relationships with our elders, relationship. I definitely see like some kind of harmony, possibly, or a healing with the father-daughter relationship in general. There's definitely something to that. That's just what I'm feeling. Of course, like Juno includes that like betrayal and loss due to simply just being a woman. So there could be some hurt coming up too. But Aquarius to me is so refreshing. It's definitely the star card to me. It's renewal kind of energy and stability. So there might be some newfound stability in that kind of partnership in your life. So it really depends on where Aquarius is in your chart and how that all works out. But there's definitely something like coming together here, and maybe we can see it in a different way, in a new way. So we also have the sun forming a sextile. Here's the sun in Aries right now, forming a sextile to Vesta, 7 degrees of Aquarius and 7 degrees of Aries here. So there's definitely something bubbling up with dedicating ourselves again to a specific purpose. It feels like challenging, or we're being challenged to really take the leap and to do the things that we have to do to get this new timeline going that we're trying to start right now. And it has something to do with your sacred purpose, your calling, what your gifts are to humanity. Personally, I believe that we're here to help each other in whatever way that we can. I just think that seems like, at the end of the day, to me, to be the main reason that we're here, is to like help each other and to help each other grow. So that kind of stuff is coming into the picture right now. And also Vulcan, which we talked about. Oh no, I don't have Vulcan up here. So Vulcan is actually conjunct Chiron right now. This is ARIES. It looks similar, the symbol, it's just like an arrow pointing down. So we talked about Vulcan a little bit during my Virgo full moon live. Vulcan is seen as like being the true esoteric ruler of Virgo. You can watch that video to learn more about that. So Vulcan is conjunct Chiron, and Vulcan happens to be in retrograde right now. So there's something significant to this, and we'll talk about the new moon also, because Vulcan is going to back up towards Pallas Athene, which you can see right here too, but is also conjunct Chiron at this time. So we're definitely moving back right now in a way to retrieve, I'm just reading what I wrote here, to retrieve forgotten wisdom that can be forged from seemingly impossible situations that we either overcame or made the best of. We're definitely moving a little bit backwards right now. I don't want to say backwards. We're looking into the past and viewing things a bit differently. And because Vulcan is the blacksmith, it's like we're forging metal, we're forging something solid, Saturn, through these really traumatic or difficult situations from the past that seem so hopeless, but weren't, and we got through them somehow. We're gaining something from that. It feels like gold. It feels like solid, very significant energy that we shouldn't, I don't want to say we shouldn't, we will really miss out if we don't grab onto those things. But it's going to be through situations that are just not so pleasant to look at and things that are painful, but there's too much good stuff in there for us to just keep pushing it away, hoping the past will just like, it'll fade into the past or something. There's something there that we have to grasp and hold on to because it's too good to let go of. So we're going to look into that stuff all the way leading up to this new moon that is on Friday, in my opinion. Also, the sun is sextile white moon Selena. which is up here in Aquarius, 5 degrees of Aquarius. The sun, yes, the sun in Aries is sextile white moon Selena. So this is using our experiences to help others, lighting the way for others, lighting the way in a very magical way, like ascending to new heights of relationship with the cosmos, with our soul group, with our tribe, with different aspects of ourself, like really coming into, I feel that Black Moon Lilith is really coming into our power, but White Moon Selena is like coming into our very best expression of the self. That's how I see that. So let's go ahead and go into the new moon in Aries. I put new moon in Pisces here, I meant Aries. This is the new moon in Aries astrology here. Let me make sure I have the right thing up. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. All right, so this is the new moon, not in Pisces, Aries, the new moon in Aries. So this is a big, giant reset, not the great reset. It's a giant reset for everyone. And also, I just want to point out that, you know, Jupiter and Neptune are getting very, very close here, which is significant. I saw a meme, I don't know if you saw that I posted it, but everyone was expecting like Jupiter and Pisces to be like lit, like it was gonna be great, we're gonna ascend in spirituality, blah, blah, blah. We forgot how emotional Pisces energy is, and we forgot how confusing Pisces energy is and how hard it actually is to let go. Now, a lot of astrologers will disagree with me on this, but the 12th house energy to me and Pisces energy is really difficult because it's supposed to be, Jamie always says that it's supposed to be the liminal space between this life and next. And I really love that description. But for me, for some reason, I don't know if it's because I'm a controlling person or if it's because of my Virgo energy, but I have a hard time letting go. Like I have a really difficult time personally just letting things be what they are and like letting that flow and just like letting go. Like that is the hardest thing to me. Usually like the universe has to like rip it out of my hands and like drag me by my feet. So I'm just like, no, let me bring structure to this. So to me, it's a really difficult energy. A lot of people are feeling some heavy karmic like emotions right now, having to end some seriously difficult, painful sometimes cycles. You know, we're letting go of like everything in a way, so many different cyclical things that are coming to an end once and for all. And there has to be some element of surrender there. It just doesn't come naturally or easily. So it's been difficult. So on this new moon in Aries, like I said, Vulcan, which is in retrograde, will be conjunct Pallas Athene at the time. So it'll be in this area. So moving back, retrieving forgotten wisdom, getting that gold, that beauty. It's not really, I mean, it can be beautiful, but it's something solid that we forged from these difficult relationships, situations, whatever it is. We're going back to get that stuff because we deserve it. And we went through these things that were very difficult. And I'm sorry to say it too, but sometimes when we go through difficult things and people help us and it seems like they're helping us at the time, sometimes they take things from us that doesn't belong to them. I'm just kind of speaking from the heart right now. And that's kind of what I feel. It's like, sometimes people disguise themselves as helpers, and it's kind of up to us and our own heart and intuition to navigate the people who truly want to help and the people who are disguising themselves as helpers, but are actually trying to get something out of us. Sometimes they take things from us without us realizing. And I think we're going to have to look at that. And hopefully we can get those things back or realize that we already had them. We're going to have to do some work there, I think. So the sun and moon will be sextile Vesta, so tending to the sacred fires of spirituality, individuality, the communal relationship to the spirit world is how I wrote this out. So the sun and moon sextile Vesta, which is at 10 degrees here. So it's actually moving out of that aspect, so separating. Tending to the sacred fires, yes, sun and moon, of course, are conjunct Chiron and conjunct Mercury. Here's Chiron and Mercury are actually kind of framing this whole thing in, which I think is really interesting. I I think we'll be ready to express ourselves, our individuality, as well as our soul wounds. And then I wanted to talk about Juno too, because Juno at this time will be square the nodes. So you can actually see that here. She's square the south node here, and she is square the north node down here. So that's really interesting. I wrote, when I was trying to analyze this, was resurfacing betrayal wounds and women's issues. I just wanted to show this art of Hera. I made a slide, but PowerPoint didn't want to work, and I didn't really feel like messing with it. Okay. There wasn't anything written on it. I just wanted to show you this picture. Because Hera is always depicted beautiful. Of course, she is beautiful. But I think this art really depicts like how the mythology often depicts Hera and Juno as being very vengeful. You would have to be quite an angry, bitter person to be in matrimony with someone who just continues to have all these affairs and all of these children with other people that are not you. I really like this art piece though. I think that's beautiful because she is like very solar sun kind of energy, but she's a storm, she is fiery. She is like a solar storm. So Juno is going to be square the north node and the south node. Definitely betrayal issues coming up, women's issues. I don't know how else I feel about this yet, but I do feel that she is going to be important this week and for this new moon. She has a lot of interesting powers too, and like magical abilities, of course, being a goddess, but there is something with her magic. I don't know. I'm not able to really see it yet, but I do feel that she is important for this new moon. And also the sun will be moving through. I just got to make sure I'm sharing this. All right, you should be able to see this. So the sun is going to be this week moving in alignment with the star ARIES. I don't know. So it's often referred to as the garnet star, which I thought was interesting. Found in the constellation Cepheus. Cepheus? Yes. The blood red supergiant star. So right at the third eye too, I just think that's interesting, at least in this depiction. So it says that this is from sentientmetaphysics.com. The fixed star ARIES (parentheses garnet star) is a dying red supergiant in the constellation Cepheus, which is the king of Ethiopia. It's at 9 degrees Aries, so the sun will be moving through it. It has energy of Saturn and Jupiter, which tends to be very fortunate, but I do think it's interesting that it's like a dying star. And the blood color red, I feel like is so relevant to Aries, of course, with Mars ruling blood, Mars ruling Aries. So it's saying, it talked about how the star is very fortunate, but if you happen to be in a negative state of mind or state of being, it's going to make it 10 times worse. So I just wanted to bring this up because just be very aware of like what kind of frequency and energy you're working with right now. A lot of us are really, really tired as the seasons are changing. It is like 30 degrees here. I'm very sad about that. So we're moving from one phase to another. That can be very exhausting, but just be aware of like what your energy is like. Be aware of what your thinking is like. You might be purging right now, but I just wanted to bring this up because the star has the tendency to take whatever the current energy is and to make it expand and expand and expand and become bigger, just like Jupiter, right? And then Saturn, once it hits that energy of Saturn, metaphysically, that deflation can really hurt if we happen to be in like a very like negative, kind of like spider webbing, echoing state of mind. So I just wanted to bring that up, something to think about. So I will be doing the live stream on Thursday at 6 p.m. CDT. We're in CDT now, right? Yeah. Okay, so that is pretty much all I have for you. I hope that you were doing well. We are moving into April. turbulent time for everyone, for sure. Did I talk about everything? Yes, of course, we will go deeper into the new moon energy. I've been really foggy, very, very tired. I was sleeping 10 plus hours a night last week, and then taking like 2 to 4 hour naps during the day. I'm like, okay, what exactly is going on right now? So, okay, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Okay, bye everyone.